What's going on, guys? It's Deadpan Duke here. I can finally say I've officially listened to every single album on the Rate Your Music Top 100 at least once. So we're going to go through all 100. I'll let you know what I think about them, and you guys can form your own opinions. I do have to warn you, I'm not a big Beatles fan. I'm not a big jazz fan, and that eradicates about a quarter of this list. But I'll try to be fair to everything else. Without further ado, let's hop right into this list. So number one, we got T-Pab. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. I have no problem with it being number one. It's probably not my favorite album of all time, but I think it's one of the best hip-hop records of all time. Politically, socially conscious. It's amazing. The jazz fusion is incredible and has some of the best production you'll ever hear on a hip-hop record. So, happy with number one, T-Pab, can't complain, moving on. OK Computer by Radiohead, another one I'm totally fine with, influenced a ton of different indie rock. If you listen to it now, it doesn't sound super experimental, but it's still really good. A lot of catchy songs, the melodies all hit hard, and this album predicted a lot of the future as far as computers and technology goes, so kind of cool to see how all that unfolded. Number three, this is where I have my first issue. It's In Rainbows by Radiohead. Now, I do like this record a lot. I think it's really good. I wouldn't consider myself a huge Radiohead fan by any means, but I do like this record. But is it the third best album of all time? Absolutely not. There are beautiful moments, like Nude, like Weird Fishes, but when I listen to this record, I just don't think it's one of the best of all time. If you do, please tell me what's so special about it to you, because I do really want to understand why people like it so much. Next up, we got Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. Obviously, it's gotta be on here. It's a prog rock classic. The analog synths sound amazing. It's well produced, and that build up to the title track is worth it every single time. Then we got Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. A lot of people call it the West Coast Illmatic because it's a storytelling record. It puts you into that perspective in Compton. And yeah, it's incredible. This is one that is pretty much on the same level as T-Pab, so it kind of has to be in the same boat, but don't have a problem with this placement either. Don't have a problem with this placement, King Crimson and the Court of the Crimson King. Yeah, this record's just great. There's a lot of epic moments, but there's a lot of breaks between like jazz and rock too, so there's just a lot going on this record. I'm sure you've seen the album cover before, but if you've never listened to this record, even if you're like not a fan of prog rock or like experimental kind of stuff, I would still check this one out. Happy to see Doom get some representation here. I personally enjoy Food more, but I understand why Mad Villainies ranked above it. This is kind of honestly a challenging record if you're like just getting into abstract hip hop, because I remember like not really understanding this one at first, but once it clicks and you understand the Doom character, you realize why it's ranked so high. Okay, so Kid A by Radiohead. I'll go back to In Rainbows for a second. Kid A, I can understand being on a list like this because it was so like shocking and jarring for the time to hear Radiohead bring this new sound, and it was pretty groundbreaking for the time. I don't understand what In Rainbows did that is so groundbreaking, what like this album or OK Computer already did. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I said, I wasn't the biggest Radiohead fan. I never really like listened to Kid A, but when I do, I understand like why people love it so much, why it's so groundbreaking. Side of the Moon, everybody knows it, everybody loves it. Not going to spend a lot of time on it. It's great, it's influential. I do prefer Wish You Were Here to it, so I'm glad to see it ranked above it, but Dark Side of the Moon, I mean, it's iconic. It's got to be here somewhere. Loveless by My Bloody Valentine, an album that you either get or you don't. You either like shoegaze or you hate shoegaze. You think it's boring. I personally love it, and this record's just so amazing. No other shoegaze record has ever come close to the quality of this one. Beatles, Abbey Road. I said I wasn't a big Beatles fan, but I'll at least say that Abbey Road is one of the best produced records of this time. It's got a lot of hits, a lot of catchy hits and stuff, but I'll explain more in a little bit about why I don't think I like the Beatles as much as other people do. We'll get there, promise. Talking Heads, Remain in Light. I love this record. I personally prefer Speaking in Tongues. That's probably my favorite Talking Heads album, but this has hits like Once in a Lifetime. Forget what the first song is called, but that one's crazy too. I'm kind of a recent Talking Heads fan, but yeah, really like this one. Don't have any issues with it appearing here. Same can be said with The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie. This is probably my favorite Bowie record as well. It's just super accessible, listenable. Just a record I really enjoy given any circumstance. And I love the concept too of this hero, Ziggy Stardust, trying to save the world. It's a pretty cool concept, and Bowie does a great job with all the performances. Next, we got Nas, Illmatic. We talked about Good Kid, Mad City. I do think this should be ranked above Good Kid, Mad City, just because I don't think that record would exist without that one. But yeah, this is the most New York record you're ever gonna find. This is like the epitome of boom bap and where that term came from. So if you are like looking for a gateway into old school hip hop, this is absolutely where you need to start. 15, Lift Your Skinny Fists Like Antennas to Heaven by Godspeed You, Black Emperor. Yeah, this record definitely has like some absolutely stunning and beautiful moments, and I totally acknowledge that. I'm not really a big post-rock fan, so like I don't like love it, but I can understand why it's here and why people love it so much, at least. Revolver by the Beatles. This is definitely like a dirtier sound of the Beatles, because it was pretty early into their discog. I don't think it's their first album, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I probably like this one more than their others, but yeah, it's just like a little weirder, a little more out there, in my opinion. So, okay, jazz. I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm not a big jazz fan. This record's super chaotic, but I'm sure it was extremely groundbreaking for the time. Velvet Underground Nico, of course, the classic Andy Warhol Banana album. If you're not intrigued by the banana, you can be intrigued by the music, because all of it on here is great. You get some really chill, like beautiful songs, and you get a couple other like more industrial, kind of weird, punk-ish type tracks on here. Yeah, recommend checking out other Lou Reed stuff if for some reason you don't like this one, but yeah. Vesper Time by Bjork. Yes, this record is absolutely gorgeous, one of her best. Even if you don't really, even if you can't get into Bjork's vocal performances, which I understand, I would at least give this one a shot just because of how gorgeous and lush the production is. It feels like you're in like a beautiful dream the whole time. Love Supreme by John Coltrane. Same thing here, just a little too chaotic for me, but like I said, I'm not the biggest jazz fan. Disintegration by The Cure is one of my all-time favorites. A lot of people will talk about like how depressing this record is, but for me, I don't really get that vibe. There's definitely some of that within here, but I just get beauty and lush beauty throughout the whole thing. A lot of the instrumentals will span like 6 to 8 minutes, and they're super long songs, and a lot of them don't go through like too many changes, but they're just so beautiful and engrossing that you just want to listen to it for the full runtime every time you put this album on. It's an incredible rock record, and if you've never heard it or you're looking for a gateway to The Cure, you gotta check this one out. Paranoid by Black Sabbath. So this probably isn't my favorite Sabbath record, but I will say, like, when I saw it came out in 1970, I was shocked because nothing sounded like this heavy in 1970. So they're like pioneers of the metal genre, and it makes sense why this is on here, even if I really kind of only like the big hits from this one. Animals by Pink Floyd. I would just say everything I said about Wish You Were Here for Animals. They're very similar records, and this is almost like a Wish You Were Here Part 2. Kind of blew my Miles Davis. I like this one a little more because it was just like a little more chill, and would be good for like nights or like a night drive or something. Red by King Crimson. This is one I listened to very recently, and I loved it. I believe this is 5 songs, and all of them are just crazy. They break into these crazy passages. Robert Fripp just sounds so good over every track he sings on. If you're gonna choose one song to listen off this one, listen to One More Red Nightmare. If you like that one, you'll like the rest of the record. If you don't like it, I would be shocked if you don't like it, so I don't have any advice for you. 26, Enter the Wu-Tang, another New York hip-hop record. But yeah, I don't think there's a grimier hip-hop album out there, and this is one of my favorites of all time. And to just know, like, this is the origin of all of these legendary hip-hop artists that are going to come from this group makes it that much better. So it's an album full of crazy posse cuts, and it is a quintessential hip-hop record. Another quintessential hip-hop record, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. Regardless what you think of him, I think this one has to be on here. Rap was in a really weird spot. in the early 2010s, like late 2000s. There just like wasn't really a lot going on, and this album kind of just opened the floodgates to everything we would hear in the 2010s and forward. So regardless how you think this one's aged, I think it absolutely should be on here. Okay, Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. So I'm going to get into what I was talking about earlier with the Beatles. Rest in peace, Brian Wilson. But my problem with like the Beach Boys and the Beatles is it just like sounds like there's an almost manufactured happiness to a lot of the music, and I can't get into it. This came out in 1966, so no doubt super influential and important record, but I just can't get into it no matter how hard I try. Can't really get into this Fishman's record either. It's one long live song and it's super unique, but if you ask anyone outside of this community, I don't think anyone's gonna have or have heard of Fishman's or have Fishman's in their top 100s. 30 Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder, one of the best double albums of all time, one of the best R&B records of all time. It's just beautiful. It radiates so much positivity. There's so many great tracks in here. The instrumentals are crazy, and you just really get to see how talented Stevie is as a musician throughout the entire thing, and it's just overall beautiful, and I'm really happy this one's ranked so high. Spiderland by Slint, another one that I just don't get at all. I tried so hard to get into this one, and like there's some cool stuff going on. The instrumentals are cool, but like when people say this is one of the best records of all time, I don't know what they're talking about either. So if somebody can explain to me why people like this one so much, I'd appreciate it. Igor, Tyler the Creator, it's a great record, no doubt, but to be this high on a top 100 list this early after it came out, I don't really know. Love Tyler though, love Igor, so no complaints about a good album being on a good list, but just seems a bit high for now. Dummy by Portishead, I think absolutely deserves to be on the list. It's the trip hop album. When you think of trip hop, this is probably the first one that comes to mind. Beth Gibbons has amazing vocal performances all the way through, and the instrumentals are crazy good. College Dropout, Kanye West. Kind of surprised this one's below Dark Fantasy. I would have this one above it, but brought that chipmunk soul sound to hip hop that has not left the genre since, and this is pretty much the best example of it. Kanye's super introspective and interesting on this record too, which has unfortunately completely left his music nowadays, but that's why people say they miss the old Kanye, because you'll listen to this and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's why. In the Airplane Over the Sea, Neutral Milk Hotel, a record that's not for everybody, but I personally love it. Just the voice, the story, it strikes some kind of nerve with me that just like hits. It's a super emotionally heavy record at its core, and the performances just add to that. And yeah, I really love this one, so don't have a problem with this one. Pink Moon, Nick Drake, another record people say is super depressing, and there's definitely some sad lyrics on here, but I think the record overall is quite beautiful, that it doesn't matter how depressing the lyrics are. It's still an enjoyable listen and one of the best folk singer-songwriter records from this era. Cocteau Twins, Heaven or Las Vegas. This is incredible. I don't think there is really, I can't remember if her name's Elizabeth Fraser or Eliza Fraser, but the way she uses her voice as an instrument is unlike anything you'll ever hear, because you don't even know what she's saying half the time, but she's just using her voice as an instrument over these lush reverb guitars, and it makes for one of the most unique experiences ever. Every song on here is just so good. Listen to this at night if you're like driving through the city or something. It's the perfect night drive record. Money Store by Death Grips. So let me say something real quick. A lot of these records that I've like pooped on or whatever doesn't mean I won't like them eventually, because I did not like Death Grips at all for the longest time until finally a few years ago they clicked, and now The Money Store is one of my favorite records of all time. So if I pooped on one of your favorite records, there is still hope for you. I might like it eventually. Anyway, this record is awesome. I don't know how they made something so noisy, so catchy. And even though I feel like the way it's aged and progressed, music has gotten like noisier and more experimental in like a pop scene, and I think this record like kind of helped make that happen, because listening to this nowadays compared to 2012, it doesn't sound nearly as abrasive as it once did. But I kind of still prefer it for how accessible it is. It's up there in Death Grip's catalog for me. Zavlaki Slowdive, another quintessential shoegaze record, one with better songwriting than Loveless, and just as good instrumental. So if you are into that record, then I'm sure you've listened to this one before, but if you're just getting into the genre, this is an absolutely essential record that you need to check out. Smith's The Queen is Dead. Happy to see the Smiths on here. I prefer Hatful of Hollow, but I'm not sure it counts since it's a compilation record. But this record would easily be next in their catalog. Just Johnny Marr's guitar playing is incredible. Morrissey, we all know, is a weirdo, but his voice is angelic over these beautiful guitar passages, and yeah, it's just a great jangly record. Up next, we got The Glow Part 2, another one that I did not get at all the first time I listened to it. I was like, like, how do people listen to Phil Elverum sing? Like, his voice is weird. But eventually it clicked, and just knowing the concept about, like, being so small in such a big world really made me enjoy this record, and I think I just had to get older to appreciate it. So if you're young and you, like, don't like this record yet, listen in like 5 years when you're an adult. Next up, we got Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I don't really love this record, but it did a lot of things that had never been done before up to that point in music, so I understand why it's on the list. I like Blonde, but 43rd best album of all time, yeah, I don't think so. I think a lot of people connect with this one more than me, and I don't think I ever really had that connection, even though there are amazing songs on here, like an Ivy, like a Self-Control, like a Nikes. So it's one of the better albums of the 2010s, but I don't think it would be on my top 100 albums list personally. 44, Atrocity Exhibition. Glad to see this one on here. This is one of the best experimental hip-hop records you'll ever hear. Danny perfected that, like, drugged out sound he was going for on here and did an amazing job, like, epitomizing what was going on in his life, what it was like to get sober, and just like the dark path he had to go on to get there. It's an amazing album experience. It's a difficult listen, honestly, but an amazing record nonetheless. In a Silent Way by Miles Davis. This is like pretty dark jazz compared to the other jazz records on here. But yeah, that's my commentary. Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division, super dark record, but this has some of the best bass lines you'll ever hear, some of the dirtiest, grimiest guitars you'll ever hear, and that makes it really cool. The vocals definitely won't be for everybody, but you gotta give Joy Division credit for pioneering the post-punk sound. It was really like the proto post-punk record that led to so many other people singing like that. Homogenic by Bjork. This is the Bjork album you go to if you want something a little crazier than Vespertine. Vespertine is if you're like chilling or whatever. Homogenic is when you like want to go crazy. Bachelorette is one of the craziest songs you'll ever hear. The electronic production throughout all of this is insane. It's a wintry record, so next time you're driving through a snowstorm, throw this on. It'll fit the vibe perfect. What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. This one's an interesting one. Obviously deserves to be here. Super progressive lyrically for the time. The production is fantastic. It sounds so clean. I think What's Going On suffers from how much it influenced other music, because there's so much other soul and R&B music that came out around the same time that sounds just like it. And that's not the fault of Marvin Gaye or the album at all. That's just a byproduct of what happens when you make an amazing record. So that's just something interesting I wanted to share. But yeah, it's a great record. Absolutely needs to be on a top 100 list. Low End Theory, A Tribe Called Quest, another must include on a list like this. This is alternative hip hop, and there wasn't a lot of it around like 91 or the time Tribe came out. I mean, you had like De La Soul and a few others like Diggable Planets, etc. But Tribe kind of did it best. It was lyrically conscious, it was smart, the jazzy production was pretty unique for the time, and Q-Tip and Fife were awesome MCs. So yeah, there will be more Tribe on the list, I think, but this is easily their best album for me. Okay, another Godspeed You Black Emperor record. I listened to this one once, and I was intrigued at first. The first song starts with this like cool spoken word thing. Then the album goes absolutely nowhere for me. I do not get this record at all. At least on like Lift Your Skinny Fist, like there's like beautiful moments and like build up to like certain things, but I do not understand this record at all. So let me know why it is on this list, why it's in the top 50. Because I'm lost. I'm not trying to be like rude or anything. I just don't understand it at all. So let me know what you think. Either or by Elliott Smith. Probably my second favorite Elliott Smith record after Figure Eight, but this is the one you go to if you want more like lyrical um, songwriting for Elliott Smith. I like it with like a little bit rockier production. This one's a little more stripped back. But yeah, you'll get to see how great of a songwriter Elliott Smith is on this record, and I have no problem with this placement. Beatles, the White Album, a lot bluesier than all their other stuff, and honestly, this is probably my favorite Beatles record. I just think you kind of get the best performances out of everyone on this one. So yeah, out of the Beatles records, this one's probably my favorite, but take that with a grain of salt because I know I'm not the biggest Beatles fan. Fishman's another. I think this is another live record. I don't really get it, but yeah. Discovery by Daft Punk, yes, absolutely amazing record. You will never hear production like this anywhere else. As far as house music goes, like this is the best house record ever. But there's so much going on instrumentally and stuff. I don't even know if it can really be like considered house. It's more like dancey and funky, but yeah, it's so good, and just the fact that they have this thing going on where it's like two robots making music makes it even better. Mentioned Food earlier, it is on here, so happy to see that. It's just Doom making punchlines out of a bunch of food. Every track is named after some kind of food or cookware, and yeah, it's a really good record and one of Doom's best for sure. Hounds of Love by Kate Bush. I honestly think Kate Bush has better records than this one, but this is just kind of the one everybody knows, kind of the most influential one, so have no problem with it being on here. It kind of took all the tropes of the 80s that were going on and added in like artistic experimental touch. And yeah, I think it's a great record that is in a good spot here. Same with Close to the Edge by Yes, another prog rock record. But as opposed to like a Pink Floyd or King Crimson, I think this record had a little more like orchestral backing to it. So if you're into that, then definitely check out Close to the Edge. Selected Ambient Works 85 and 92 by Aphex Twin. Essential electronic record. If you're like cleaning the house or just like trying to focus, the music on here is amazing for that. It's great for like studying and influence a lot of other kind of electronic music in the same boat as it. Black Star by David Bowie. Had the pleasure of listening to this just a few weeks ago, and it's phenomenal. It's made even darker when you realize David Bowie died just a little bit after this record came out. So I would say it's like not an easy listen knowing that, but the songs are amazing, and I mean he was just an experimentalist to his death, which we see here. But yeah, amazing record. Death Consciousness, Have a Nice Life. This is an interesting one. As someone who like loves shoegaze, I really liked the first two songs on here. I think they do a great job just like emphasizing the hopelessness that this record goes for, and those two songs are amazing, like 10 out of 10 songs for me. But then the rest of the record kind of just trails off, and I don't really get it from there. So this probably wouldn't be on my top 100 list, but I know it's a super like influential record in this space. Bitches Brew by Miles Davis. I need to give this one another listen, but like I said, not the biggest jazz fan, so yeah, don't have much commentary for this one. Low by David Bowie. This is one has like a lot of instrumentals compared to other Bowie records. He's not really the star of the show on this one. It's more so his instrumentals, but all of them on here are great. This is probably one of my favorite Bowie records. And yeah, just a lot of instrumentals that'll get stuck in your head and just really, really good overall. Nevermind by Nirvana, another awesome record. Obviously has to be on here. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's one of the most important rock records of all time, and yeah, the quintessential grunge record. I keep saying quintessential, but that's what it is. Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan, probably the most iconic Bob Dylan record. Yeah, it's really good. Has Like a Rolling Stone on it. Has most of his like big tracks on it that got him started. And yeah, songwriting's great. Illinois by Sufjan Stevens. It's pretty influential in like the kind of like lo-fi folk, lo-fi pop kind of sound. It's not my favorite record. I think Sufjan has better. but I know people love this one, and it's one of his early albums, so if you want to have it on here, got no complaints. Introducing by DJ Shadow. Yes, this has some of the best instrumentals you will ever hear, and yeah, I don't really have much to say other than that. Just go listen to this one. Television, Marky Moon. This one's like on here strictly for how great the guitar playing is on here. I mean, if you are a guitar player or you just really like guitar, then you gotta listen to this one and just listen to the guitars. That's really the whole point of this Marky Moon record. Swans, Soundtracks for the Blind. This is one I need to listen to again. I need to just go back through the entire Swans catalog because everyone is always talking about how great Swans are, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever be for me. I just don't want to listen to 2 hours of music in one setting. But yeah, if you're a big Swans fan, let me know why you like them so much. 69, Doolittle by Pixies. That's kind of a fitting number for this Pixies record. Just because it's like so like quirky and wild, but I love this album. Like pretty much influenced all of the indie rock you hear today. Like this record came out and everything followed the blueprint afterwards. Yeah, Doolittle's amazing. It's so much fun. So many great tracks. One of the best rock records of all time. J Dilla Donuts, same thing I would say about the DJ Shadow record. This has some of the best instrumentals you'll ever hear, and just the way Dilla chopped samples, I've never heard anyone else chop them up the way he did. So yeah, Donuts is phenomenal. In Utero, same thing as Nevermind. I would put both records on pretty much the same level. I know a lot of people have a strong preference over which one they'd prefer, but me, I don't really care. I think they're both great. And I don't think I really prefer one over the other. I think they each have their highlights, and yeah, another great grunge record. Led Zeppelin 4, yes, obviously when you think classic rock, this is probably the first record that pops into your head. Personally, prefer Physical Graffiti just a little bit. I think it's more consistent overall, but Led Zeppelin 4 is still a legendary record. Electric Ladyland by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Yes, this is my favorite Jimi Hendrix album. Guitar playing is amazing. I love a lot of the singing on here, and Jimmy just sounds great overall for 1968. It's a well-produced record. It's one of those records that's like well-produced, but like still grimy and kind of like dirty. You can tell it's like old, but it's like good. So yeah. Surprised this one is so high already. Ants from Up There by Black Country New Road. Now, as opposed to Igor, I'm actually kind of okay with this one being in the top 100 just because I feel like this one is going to go down as one of the most influential and important records of the 2020s. You just listen through like anything else that's came out in this decade, I don't think anything sounds like this record. Isaac's vocals are just like have a way of connecting with people, and they connect with me too, and having all these crazy instruments throughout this album, it's an amazing record, and honestly I am fine with it being so high on this list. 75, Master of Reality, Black Sabbath. This is the Sabbath record I love. It's so good. Heavy. It's hard rock. Yeah, really like this one. Kanye West, Late Registration. Late Registration is great. It's like not one of my favorite Kanye records for some reason. It's like, it's very consistent, but also like the songs don't hit as hard as like a College Dropout or a Graduation for me, but once again, I'm fine with having it on here. The Doors' self-titled record, to me, just sounds like a way more like drugged out Beatles, and honestly it makes for some pretty good tunes. So yeah. Jeff Buckley, Grace. Jeff Buckley has an amazing voice, but that's really all I can say. He's one of those like popular artists in the Rate Your Music sphere that I've just never been able to get into. So yeah, you can't force somebody to like something, and that's the case with Jeff Buckley for me, but rest in peace to him. 9 Inch Nails, Downward Spiral. Yes, nothing sounded like this at the time. It's so aggressive. Closer is an amazing song. Heavy, it's industrial, there's so much going on. It's an awesome record though. Station to Station, David Bowie. I need to give this one a couple more listens. I've only really heard it once, but I just know this is kind of like his blues record. And it was pretty cool when I listened to it, but I definitely still prefer Low and Ziggy Stardust over it at this moment. Great. I think this is the last page. We got Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. Probably my favorite Bob Dylan record. I just think the songwriting is perfect on this one. And yeah, I think he like hit the nail on the head for every song on this album. Laughing Stock, Talk Talk. Another one that I think has beautiful moments, but I just don't really get it. I don't think it's one of the best albums of all time. But if you do, once again, let me know why you think so. Blonde on Blonde, Bob Dylan. Honestly, you guys, I need to listen to this one again. I've only heard it like once, so I don't have any commentary. Sorry. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. Yes, this is amazing. Thrash metal classic. Fade to Black is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Metallica song, and that is on this record. Yeah, guitar playing is amazing. It's heavy. It's great. Great record. Massive Attack, Mezzanine, another one of my favorite records. This record is like an audiophile's dream. Everything sounds so clean and crisp. It's dark. There's so much to like about Massive Attack's Mezzanine. Karma, Pharoah Sanders. Need to listen to this one again too, but that's the case for most of the jazz records, like I mentioned. Quell and I by Outkast is definitely the best Outkast record, so you can fight me on that if you don't agree. But it's got Big Boy and Andre 3K firing on all cylinders, and it sounds like their most like southern hip hop record too. Carrie & Lowell by Sufjan Stevens. This one I like more than Illinois, so I'm happy it's on here. Heartbreaking lyrics all around, but another record that has enough beauty to withstand the depressing nature of it and gets people to come back because of how beautiful it is. Closer by Joy Division. This one I don't get. I love Unknown Pleasures. I get why that record's so popular. The guitars on that record are amazing. The bass lines are amazing, and the singing is good. I don't love the vocals for Joy Division, but I did mention how influential they are. I understand what they were going for. This one, maybe I just need to listen to it more, but it's not nearly as accessible for me as Unknown Pleasures is. Symbolic Death, the quintessential death metal record. I've only heard this one a couple times, but I really liked it. Wouldn't argue with anyone if they said it sounded a little dated, because it definitely does. But this is still a super important death metal record that needs to be on a list like this, so happy to see it here. Midnight Marauders would say the exact same stuff I said about the Low End Theory. Tribe is super influential, and this record's great. I do think the Low End Theory is just a little better though, so it makes sense. This is lower. Since I Left You by the Avalanches, Plunderphonics, the samples are amazing. This is one of the best instrumental records you'll ever hear. Definitely needs to be on here. Velocity Design Comfort by Sweet Trip. I like this record. I like the poppier tracks on this record. I actually prefer You Will Never Know Why to this record. I just think overall it's kind of better and more consistent, but if you want something like a little more electronic, then you'll like this one. I prefer Sweet Trip in a poppier bag, so I like You Will Never Know Why better. Are You Experienced by the Jimi Hendrix Experience? I would say pretty much the exact same stuff I said about Electric Ladyland. I prefer that record a little bit, but yeah, would pretty much give the exact same commentary to this one. Inner Visions by Stevie Wonder. Amazing, just like Songs in the Key of Life. This one has a little bit more social commentary on it with songs like Living for the City. But yeah, another record that is amazing. It's funky, it's soulful, it's Stevie doing Stevie yet again. Master of Puppets by Metallica. This is like a brother album to Ride the Lightning. It's like almost identical albums to me. They're on the same level. They're both amazing. The guitar playing is amazing. Yeah. So, Songs of Leonard Cohen by Leonard Cohen. This is one of the ones on this list that I've only been able to listen to once or twice, but yeah, it's honestly really beautiful from what I have heard, and I enjoy it a lot. So, don't mind seeing this one here. I think Leonard Cohen is a pretty influential figure in the folk scene, so it makes sense that it's this high. I apologize for my pronunciation of this in advance, but Club de Esquina by Milton Nascimento and Lo Borge. I think let me know if I pronounce that right. I've listened to this one quite a few times actually, and I think it's a great entry point for anyone trying to get into world music. This is a Brazilian record, and honestly, a lot of it is really beautiful. A lot of the choruses are super catchy and earwormy. And yeah, some of the guitars sound super clean and great over these instrumentals. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I didn't know it was so critically acclaimed until I actually discovered it, but it's a good record. Talking Heads Stop Making Sense. This is one you absolutely need to listen to if you're a Talking Heads fan. It's a live record with all of their hits, all of their best songs, and David Byrne and everybody is just so energetic on this one. So yeah, kind of happy to see this one here. I'm surprised this was on here. This and Fishman's are like the only two live records on the top 100, which is kind of interesting, but yeah. And finally, Is This It by The Strokes. Really important garage rock record, kind of like revived rock in the 2000s because that shit was dead. And then The Strokes brought it back, and then followed by the White Stripes, the Killers, etc. Bands like that with the garage rock vibe. So yeah, happy to see the Strokes made it right into the top 100. Wouldn't be surprised if they get removed because that 100 spot is up for grabs. Anyway, let's go through like the next 100 and just see if there's anything I'm shocked that didn't make it on this list. Kind of surprised this one didn't make it in the top 100 just because of how influential it was for nu metal, and it is like everyone's favorite nu metal record. So I'm a little bit surprised Toxicity wasn't on the top 100. But When the Pawn by Fiona Apple, I'm not surprised that it's not in the top 100, but it would probably be in my top 100. It's an amazing jazzy record with great performances by her all around, probably my favorite from her. So yeah, kind of surprised that this one didn't make it in. Very surprised that this one didn't make it in. I mean, this record's absolutely beautiful and stunning from every angle, and I think it's on the level of all the other folk that was on the list, so I'm surprised Joni didn't make the cut into the top 100. Surprised with London Calling not making the top 100 too. This is one of the catchiest, like, best rock records of the late 70s, and yeah, would definitely have it on mine. A little bit surprised about Lauryn Hill too. She's such a popular figure when it comes to hip hop, and so her not being in the top 100 is a little bit surprising. I would have at least thought she would be like top 150, but she's not even in the top 150, so that is interesting as well. So I scrolled through the next 100. Those are really the only ones that I'm shocked that weren't in the top 100, but there's so many great records on here, guys. If you're looking for new music, just go down the list and start listening to some of these because they are phenomenal records, especially this Stereolab record that is on the screen right now. Go listen to this one. It's awesome. It's poppy. It's like fun. It's lo-fi. And they just released a new record, so go check that out too. Anyway, guys, I'm Deadpan Duke. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.